60 Minutes had this year-long investigation into Benghazi, and they ran this report a while back. They had hyped the report endlessly, and one of their star witnesses in the report was a British security officer named Dylan Davies, and he told this heroic tale of busting in to help people and hitting an Al-Qaeda operative with the butt of his gun, etc., etc. As like your classic G.I. Joe come to save the day type story. In 2013, 60 Minutes aired a story that destroyed their reputation overnight. The Benghazi report seemed like another big scoop, but within days everything fell apart. The main source had lied about crucial details. Worse yet, he was writing a book for a CBS-owned publisher. Conflict of interest accusations flew. The reporter and producer disappeared on leave. CBS was forced to make a humiliating public apology. But this scandal was just the tip of the iceberg. The real reasons why America's most trusted news show almost got canceled run much deeper than anyone knows. In 1967, Don Hewitt came up with an idea that would change television forever. He wanted a program that could go deeper than the 2-minute evening news segments, but didn't need the commitment of an hour-long documentary. For him it was also personal. Just 3 years earlier he had been fired as producer of the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite after clashing with CBS News president Fred Friendly. Hewitt was sent to the network's little-respected documentary division, a move many saw as a dead end. Pitching 60 Minutes was his way back. Bill Leonard, vice president for news programming, believed in the idea. Richard Salant, president of the news division, did not. Salant thought it would soften the hard edge of serious journalism. After weeks of pushback, he reluctantly agreed. That decision would launch one of the most influential programs in television history. Hewitt didn't just create another news show. He redefined the look and feel of TV journalism. The ticking stopwatch, which became the show's signature, wasn't just decoration. It was there to remind viewers of pace, urgency, and precision. In the original set, Mike Wallace and Harry Resner sat on opposite sides of a cream-colored studio, a setup later replaced with the now famous black background. Hewitt decided that correspondents would never share the screen, making each segment feel like a one-on-one conversation with the viewer. The magazine-style backdrops behind each reporter mirrored print layouts. Chroma key technology highlighted key topics. Every design choice was deliberate, aiming to keep viewers engaged in stories told through personalities rather than an impersonal anchor desk. Hewitt's career had already been filled with firsts. He directed Edward R. Murrow's See It Now in the 1950s, including the first coast-to-coast live television hookup in November 1951, showing both the Brooklyn and Golden Gate Bridges at the same time. In 1960, at just 38, he produced and directed the first televised presidential debate between John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon. Hewitt later joked that Kennedy won because he looked healthy and confident while Nixon appeared pale and tired. He also introduced innovations like cards, on-screen captions, and smoother editing systems, and even coined the term anchorman. His philosophy was that television should mix serious investigative work with human interest stories to keep people watching. By the time he pitched 60 Minutes, he had a clear sense of how to make that balance work. When 60 Minutes debuted on September 24, 1968, it was unlike anything else on TV. Mike Wallace and Harry Resner alternated as correspondents, speaking from opposite sides of the studio. There was no anchor behind a desk, no formal news reading, just stories told in depth in a style that felt intimate. Ratings at first were underwhelming, and many CBS executives weren't sure prime time was the right place for investigative journalism, but the network stayed with it. Over time, the show would become television's long-strung prime time series, winning more Emmy Awards than any other. In 1972, the show landed in the Sunday 600 Belton slot, but this created a new problem. NFL games often ran late, cutting into or wiping out the program entirely. From 1972 to 1975, 60 Minutes went on hiatus during the football season, airing only in the summer. Ironically, the NFL would later become its best lead-in, delivering huge audiences once the show returned to Sundays year-round. The scheduling mess was made worse by a CBS technicians' strike that year, which disrupted both football coverage and news broadcasts. It was a reminder that sports and news often competed for time and attention in unpredictable ways. The visual style of 60 Minutes kept evolving. The shift from a light cream set to a deep black background gave the program a more serious tone, focusing attention entirely on the reporters and their subjects. The stopwatch and its ticking sound became instantly recognizable. Producers also changed how interviews were filmed, allowing correspondents to move around rather than sit still in a static frame. These choices influenced countless other programs, setting a standard for what serious television journalism should look like. The decision to keep correspondents separate on screen also shaped the show's identity. Mike Wallace was known for his direct, often confrontational questioning, while Morley Safer was calm and analytical. Viewers got to know each journalist's style and often followed their stories over multiple years. This personal connection helped keep audiences loyal even when the cast changed. Between 1968 and 1975, CBS moved 60 Minutes through 7 different time slots, trying to find the right place for it. The show began as a bi-weekly program, jumped between weekdays, and then settled into Sundays. The Federal Communications Commission's 1971 primetime